Coming up on FYI, after Boris Johnson quit as Prime Minister, what happens next? Who will be our next Prime Minister and how will he or she be chosen? I'm at Westminster where all the big decisions are made by politicians.
And is your school short of musical instruments? You're not alone. We'll be asking whether we're getting enough help to learn to play music.
Plus, we'll speak to the stars of the latest Zombies film.
Addison!
This is FYI, the weekly news show where we bring you all the latest info.
Even in a sling. Hey Maya, what happened?
Well, I fell at school and fractured my elbow, but I'm all good.
Great. Well, like us, you might be wondering, after Boris Johnson quit, when will we get a new Prime Minister and how is one chosen? Well, we sent Thomas to Westminster to get more info. Hey Thomas!
Hi guys, so behind me is the Houses of Parliament where all the politicians work. And we've been told it's business as usual, with Boris Johnson still in charge until a replacement is found. And loads of politicians from his party, the Conservatives, are putting their names forward.
So from what I gather, the Conservative Party gets to choose our new leader. So why does a political party get to vote for our new Prime Minister and not adults from across the UK? That seems a bit unfair.
Yeah, it does until you read up on how it all works. And then you kind of get it. This is what I found out.
So, 3 years ago there was a general election, when people over the age of 18 get to vote on which political party will run the country. They do that by voting for someone to represent the area where they live. That person is usually a member of a political party. The person with the most votes in each area gets a seat here in the House of Commons to vote and debate on policies and new laws. Usually a party with the most MPs winning seats gets what is called a majority and becomes the government. Basically a team of MPs that runs the country. The leader of that party becomes Prime Minister. The Conservative Party won the last election and now its MPs have made it clear they don't want Boris Johnson to be their leader. He has agreed to step aside. The party will have their own election to decide who will be their next leader.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Politicians from other political parties have said that there really should be a general election so the public can decide. But they don't have the power to force one to happen. Who said politics was boring?
A lot of Conservative MPs put their names forward.
So we wanted to get your shout on Boris Johnson resigning and what you want from a new Prime Minister. Over to the FYI News Club members at Southgate School.
It is clearly now the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister. And I've agreed with Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of our backbench MPs, that the process of choosing that new leader should begin now.
The things I liked about Boris Johnson was probably he dealt with the lockdown quite well, and we were one of the first European countries to get the vaccine out.
One of the things I disliked about him is that he tended to make rules that he wouldn't follow himself.
I think we just need a trusted leader, someone we can rely on to lead the country.
Someone who we can trust and who will deliver on what they say.
I don't really trust politicians.
I think the public should be on full control of who is ruling the country, because at the end of the day they're the ones that are getting affected by the leaders' choices. So if you can't choose, then it doesn't become a free country anymore.
The things that I want the government to prioritise is cutting the costs of everyday necessities.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that are having to choose between heating and food and petrol as well. That costs a lot of money, so it's not really fair that people that can't afford it are having to pay.
Remember, if you want to have your say on an issue right here on FYI, head to our webpage at first.news/FYI. You'll get all the info on how to set up an FYI News Club at your school.
So, Scarlett, a little birdie told me that you play the piano.
Yeah, I love playing the piano, but I just really enjoy music in general.
Yeah, I play the piano as well. But some of our teachers think the government isn't doing enough to give us all an opportunity to play musical instruments at school. Did you know that right now school pupils in England don't get free access to musical instruments or to musical lessons? But in Scotland and Wales they do.
Really?
Yeah, but there are loads of organisations and charities trying to get musical instruments into school for free, like the Brass Foundation scheme, which has taken place in Gloucestershire. Pupils from one of the schools they helped wanted to show us how it transformed their world. These guys are getting ready for their end-of-term performance.
1, 2, 3, 4!
When they first picked up their brass instruments, they didn't have to buy or rent them. They borrowed them without having to pay a penny.
I think music is peaceful. I find it calming, but also if it's like really cool music, I just find it really exciting.
I just like playing tunes to entertain myself, and there's a lot of things you can do with music. You could end up playing in orchestras or bands and stuff.
They only started learning their instruments at the start of the term, and now it's finally time for their prom in the playground.
3, 4. I don't think I would have tried a brass instrument unless they came and told us we could do it for free.
Usually you have to rent them. Buying one is over £500 sometimes. Everyone should have the opportunity to play if they want.
I think it's unfair that if they can't afford it, I think they still should be able to.
It's just a really fun, exciting experience, and it can really help you, and it's not fair that only people with enough money should get it. I think music should be free in every school.
They did great! So Maya, it's weird that in Scotland and Wales, people get access to musical instruments and lessons for free, but they don't in England.
Yeah, I actually did an internet search on that, and the government says that they're planning to spend over £100 million more on music education.
So does that mean that we'll be getting more access to musical instruments and lessons then?
Hopefully. I've got a hold of Paul McLaughlin. He's in charge of the scheme that helped the pupils that we just saw perform. Hi there, Paul. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
So what do you think about the government announcing extra funding for musical education in schools?
I think it's a great thing. Any added funding coming in that makes our jobs a bit easier, makes more people have the opportunity to access music, whether that's playing or listening, can only be a good thing. It sounds like loads of money though, and it's not going to go very far, but without wishing to sound cynical about it, anything that comes in that is extra has to be a good thing. And I think it's great that the government has finally recognised the work that we do as musicians and as music teachers, and the hard work that schools and other organisations like community brass bands put in working with young people, bringing them through into an environment that is a lifelong pleasure.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Paul. Bye.
Thank you.
More than usual this week, we're all talking about the weather and how hot it's been. In most parts of the UK, there's been a heat wave, and the Met Office, the UK's weather organisation, has even issued rare health warnings because of high temperatures.
Yeah, it's been so hot. And because of that, people have been going swimming outdoors, which has led to a number of teenagers drowning in canals, quarries, and even the sea. So police have now said to only swim in supervised areas.
Yeah, well, I'm on the Royal National Lifeboat Institution website now, and they have loads of advice on how to stay safe in the water. If you go to the beach, best choose one with a lifeguard, where flags show you where it's safe to swim. If you're in the water and in trouble, you should form a star shape to float and call for help. If you see someone in trouble, call 999.
So, this heatwave got us wondering, is weather like this normal, or are heatwaves going to become more frequent in the UK? And is that down to climate change?
We've got a hold of meteorologist Joe Robinson, who knows all about the weather, to tell us more.
Extreme heat waves do occur naturally due to changing weather patterns across the globe, but heat waves are becoming more frequent, longer and more intense as global temperatures rise due to human activity. In fact, 3 out of the last 4 summers somewhere in the UK recorded 35 degrees Celsius or higher. But our climate is changing, and so are the thresholds used by the Met Office to define a heat wave. They were changed earlier this year in line with the most recent climate period, and that in turn raised some of the levels across eastern parts of England.
Thanks for that, Joe. So if we don't get a hold of global warming, we can expect to see a lot more of this weather in the future.
So, we're outside because Ellie is joining us to talk about the Euros and just for a kickabout. Hi Ellie, thanks for joining us.
Hi guys, thanks for inviting me here today.
So you've been campaigning for ages for girls to have the same chances as boys when it comes to football. I mean, we're not even calling it the Women's Euros anymore, we're just calling it the Euros. And there's been a record-breaking number of tickets that have been sold. So do you think that girls are finally getting the same opportunities as boys are?
Yeah, definitely. They've been classed as professional and elite, just like the men. And grassroots game for younger girls has grown massively, and it just provides a lot more opportunities for girls to play football.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think it's time that professional women footballers got the same wages as men, like they've done in the USA?
Yeah, definitely. USA is leading by example by giving them both the same, because they're drawing in the same crowds and playing in the same high level. The rest of the world should now follow an example because it's just unfair not to.
So Ellie, you've campaigned so much that you've been made an ambassador for girls football, but what exactly does that mean?
It means I'm a role model for girls in my hometown to try and inspire them to play football, and I go to groups of girls to speak to them about football and try and inspire them.
So, do you think England has a shot at winning this year?
Yeah, definitely, especially when they finish top of their group stage and they're in good form to win it.
Well, finally, can you show me a football skill? Maya, I think you better sit this one out.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So the skill I'm going to show you is called a step over, and you can use this to get round players when they're coming at you. And this is what it looks like.
Okay.
You need to take your dominant foot round the outside of the ball and then kick it to the side.
Okay, so I go like that, and then I kick it. Yeah. Okay, I'll kick it to you, Maya. Cool. Okay, you ready?
Woo! Well done, Scarlett.
I think I need a bit more practice. I mean, I'm not as good as you, but football is a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us, Ellie.
Thanks for inviting me today.
Summertime means loads of decent films will be coming out, and this one caught my eye. Zombies 3, the third instalment at a school like no other.
Welcome back to Seabrook. Humans, zombies, and werewolves have learned to live together.
But now, some newcomers arrive in Seabrook, leading to more than just a friendly cheerleading competition. We've got some of the stars of the film joining us now. Hi guys, we love zombies. And it's weird, but I also like the fact that there are some serious messages that come out of the storyline.
Throughout the whole franchise, there's this underlying theme, message of acceptance, but also the fact that you need to have hard conversations to change and improve yourself.
Yeah, and that we can make like our planet here, you know, our utopia.
Hidden map to utopia, a new home for aliens. We came here to find it.
There's a big theme of acceptance in the film, and obviously as the aliens being the newcomers, they had some problems fitting in. Have you guys ever experienced anything like that yourselves?
I think it's an ongoing experience. You know, I'm queer, non-binary, but I've been fortunate in that, like, growing up, I had a very supportive friend group and stuff, but I think a lot of the acceptance issues happen from societal acceptance, and I think you feel that in your bones.
It's important to just embrace who you are, you know, no matter what anybody thinks.
And I think in order to progress, we need to continue to be outwardly and loudly ourselves.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to someone who's perhaps moved schools or towns and is worried about being accepted or fitting in?
I remember, you know, doing things in school because I felt like it would make me fit in. And the second I started, you know, pursuing my dreams and following my passions, when I really felt like I became such a happier person.
And if people aren't being really supportive of you and being nice to you, then they aren't your true friends. You don't want to be around those people.
True.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to me, guys.
Of course, thank you so much.
They're here to take what's ours.
Help! Addison!
Help! Well, that's about it from us. But before we go, here are some amazing images taken by a NASA telescope. The deepest and the sharpest image ever taken of the universe, showing thousands of galaxies. And check out these images of an unseen universe.
Wow, they're amazing. See you next time.